It's crazy to say that I've been gone for over 30 days. Now I just want to go out and assess the state of the garden, do some maintenance, and hopefully do some harvesting along the way. Just looking around, there's a lot to be done, but the first thing that catches my mind is the greenhouse full of greens, so I want to head that way and see what we can do. All of these greens here are all sweet potato greens. We're just got them busting out of the greenhouse. Even behind me, you can see them behind the mulberry tree and behind the fig. We planted 3 raised beds full of sweet potatoes this year, but these ones in the greenhouse, I didn't even plant them. I think they started growing from the sweet potatoes that we had grown last year behind the greenhouse. I guess we left a few stragglers, and now we've got this crazy mess on our hands. And I really want to pull these out because the greenhouse we have so that we can grow in the late fall and winter. Look at how big and beautiful these greens are. This plant is so healthy and has been loving its life inside the greenhouse. And these are actually edible, so even though we're pulling all of these sweet potato greens out of the greenhouse, we're gonna save some of these, probably stir fry them up with some dinner. The rest of it's gonna go to the chickens, and in the compost pile to be recycled right back into the garden. Look at this. This is insane. It's like a waterfall. I kind of don't want to take it down, but we have to, because underneath here, we've got all of our raised beds. Look at that. There's just peeling right off. Look at that. Just beautiful preserved space. We've got some caterpillars in here that were sleeping. Hopefully we're gonna have to find a space for those, but okay. So we've got the sweet potatoes. They came back here. It looks like, let's see if I can pull some up. This is nuts. Oh yeah. Look at that. We just pulled up a potato too. Nice. Okay, so yeah, it looks like, based off of this, it looks like it came from old sweet potatoes, but they're buried under there, which means if I don't pull them up, we're gonna probably get more again next year. This is crazy. I'm gonna have to come in here and cut all of this out. Oh, this is nuts. Oh, they've rooted in here too. Let's see if we can get some up. There we go. We got a nice, decent sized sweet potato there. One long one. So if you didn't know, the sweet potatoes are planted from slips. So you essentially take a sweet potato like this, it starts growing some of its plant, and you rip that off and you plant that, and that's what grows sweet potatoes. If you just plant a whole sweet potato itself, it's gonna grow lots of vines just like this and not very many sweet potatoes. And that's exactly what I want to get these out of here, because it's not a waste of space, but a lot of bed space that I'm gonna be able to utilize for the fall and winter growing. And that's even more important to me. And to be able to use this for the compost, this is gonna make some really, really good compost. All right, got that all cut. Leave a little bit. I'll probably clean the rest of that up later. But let's rip all this out. I'm gonna just pull everything straight out here. There we go. Look at all those vines. There's the greenhouse. Just look at the difference. Look what that looks like now. Hey, the good thing is there's no weeds. Oh man, look at that. I see some loofah back there. There might be some loofah for us to peel. I think we should go do that. Now that we've got this cleaned out, I'll worry about getting this all back in the compost pile. Let's see if we got some loofah to peel. I was hoping, I think I see some, yeah. So I brought a bowl out with me so we can harvest our loofah. And this trellis is a cattle panel trellis. We built it this year and it has turned out amazing. I can just walk on through here. We've got 2 deep. Oh, just don't walk through here. We've got 2 cattle panel trellises deep. They are 16 feet long and 50 inches wide. So we've got this beautiful trellis. It feels amazing in here. And then we've got loofahs just hanging everywhere. We typically grow loofahs for their sponges, and you can see them at the various stages. You've got a green loofah right here. This is a mature loofah that is almost ready. It's still very firm, but then we've got these right here are the ones that are ready to be harvested for sponges as well as seeds for next season. So we'll prop this off here. Got some seeds in there. That's good. Let's get a little scrape going. Oh, this is gonna be awesome. And the strings just come through. Look at this, get up in here. See, this one's actually a little bit too far gone. That's what happens when you're not here, right? You can't catch everything at its peak, but you can see those black seeds coming out of here. This peel is coming right off. Oh, the seeds are coming out. We'll probably have some loofah there next year. But it's always so satisfying to me watching that peel just come off and compost. Look at that, loofah sponge. Cut this up right. We've got the seeds in there. Let's shake some of them out. That's like barely any effort here. Let's see if we can get enough. Yeah, so I mean, there's gonna be hundreds and hundreds of these loofah seeds in here. We can break this open, I guess, too. Oh, this is so exciting. If you guys want to see loofah seeds back for sale on our Etsy store, definitely let us know in the comments, because we've had hundreds of people buy our seeds and have great success with them. And if you want to grow loofah like this in your own backyard, you definitely can. Just know it is a tropical to subtropical plant. It needs a bunch of space. Just look at it growing up our tree here, our pine tree, it's taken over. We've got some loofah at different stages there. But the pollinators absolutely love it. It's full of those huge yellow flowers. We've got some even coming out here, but it does take upwards of 150 days for these loofah to form. So make sure that your season is long enough before you buy the seeds, all right? But we'll have these available for you guys on our Etsy store, hopefully in a few weeks. I love harvesting loofah though. It's always so much fun, and figuring out creative ways to use these sponges just makes this whole process even more worthwhile. I was gonna go to the garden next, but I completely forgot that I planted pumpkins right here. And I think I see a few of them poking out. So the vines have looked like they've completely died back, which is all right because Halloween is right around the corner, and that's exactly why we grew the pumpkins, especially for our kiddos to decorate. But we've got a pumpkin right here. Look at this Blanco pumpkin. It looks beautiful. It looks like it's getting a little bit of pest pressure, so even though I don't think it's 100% ready, I'm gonna cut this off, make sure I leave a good portion of the vine. Look at that, we'll clean that up. That's a beautiful color right there. I've got some ideas on some little craft DIY projects that I wanna do, so make sure you look out on our other forms of social media for that. Got another one here. Two. These are gorgeous. We've got this last one, it looks like. I'll poke around a little bit. Look at that. So yeah, we've got another one forming right here, a little baby pumpkin. And then it's around this corner here. We had some more. We had some bigger pumpkins here. Looks like they didn't make it, which is okay. You know, that's what happens. And we've got something, someone had a feast. Growing any type of squash plant here has always been a struggle because we get squash vine borers and squash bugs. A lot of people that live on the East Coast have this problem. So for us to be able to get pumpkins like this at all, I'm really happy with. All right, it's garden time, and it just looks crazy. Just look at the cosmos. Look how gorgeous these are. makes a beautiful backdrop. I love it. We didn't plant any of these cosmos in this garden. We had done a huge garden renovation this spring. We put in 6 metal birdies raised beds, and we did have some cosmos planted in the garden last year, and turns out they self-seed like crazy, but it looks absolutely beautiful. Now, we'll have to see how much of a struggle it's gonna be to work through this all. Yeah, see, coming in to the walkway even, there's just full of weeds. I don't want people to be discouraged about, oh, if I leave my garden for 30 days, this is what it's gonna come into, but you do have to stay on top of your garden. You can't just expect to do nothing and think that you're gonna be successful. That's not how it goes. I don't think that's how it goes for anything in life. So we're gonna get some ugliness, we're gonna get some beauty out of it, and we're gonna go from there. We're gonna see what we've got. So in these 2 raised beds, we cleaned out right before I had left. We completely gutted them, started out with a clean slate, amended the soil, and I went ahead and planted some cabbages. So we've got some cabbages here. It looks like our borage is self-seeding again. So we planted some green beans here, and we've got the green beans coming through. Look at that. Some beautiful snaps right there. Perfectly tender, delicious. I'm gonna continue to harvest these green beans, and I'm gonna grab some of these now, these beautiful green beans. There's so many of them on this plant. So as long as I can come out here and continue to harvest these regularly, they're going to provide me beans all the way up into the frost. And I wanted to plant these right before I left because I knew coming back, they should starting to become mature and produce green beans. Look at all these in here. It just keeps going. I've easily got green beans for dinner tonight. Look at them all in here. So I'm gonna pick these all off, and all of these smaller beans are gonna continue to grow, and I'm easily gonna be able to get a few more harvests off this single plant here. Just look at that. Awesome. I guess I should pull out some of these weeds while I'm in here too. This is also another new weed for me this year. It's like this stringy vining crop. I'll have to look that up as well, but I have never seen it before. Maybe it was from the compost I brought in or something along those lines. But as you can see, it's coming up from the ground, coming into the raised beds, and then just spreading around. But the nice thing about having these elevated raised beds is that I don't have significant weed pressure. I don't have a lot of weeds that are jumping into my raised beds. It's just these tall climbers, which are relatively easy to pull out of here. They're coming out pretty easily. And that's also the benefit of making your own nice, light, fluffy soil, is that it makes it easy for the plants to grow, easy for the weeds to root in, but also easy to pull them all out. This isn't gonna be so bad. It's really not gonna take that much time to get all this cleared out and looking pristine. Five minutes, clean up the raised bed, harvested some green beans for dinner. We're good to go. I see those squashes over there. Planted those right before I left as well, and I'm amazed how big they are. And as we're walking through here, more cosmos, some kohlrabi as well we've got starting to form. It's got this nice little root going. This is gonna continue to grow into the fall and early winter, and we'll harvest that later on. So it's not quite ready yet. Love harvesting those roots. Potatoes. You gotta be kidding me. So we had potatoes, we grew potatoes this year in this bed and this bed before we had the squash. It was gorgeous, but I guess we've left some potatoes in here that we forgot to harvest, and more potatoes are growing. So, hey, they look like they're doing really good. So I'm gonna let them do their thing until the frost comes through, and then we'll see if we can get some potatoes later on the season. But I really wanna know if we have some yes, we do. This is the best feeling, coming back, not doing anything. Look at that. Look at these 2 zucchinis. This is an Italian variety, Castata romanesca. These are perfect. Look at that. Gorgeous. And there's another one here too. So knowing that this plant is mature already, our first frost is about a month away. So we still have 4 weeks of this to look forward to. That's fantastic. And then this one is a patty pan variety. They kind of look like little flying saucers. And let's see if we've got any on here. Don't see anything quite yet, but look at all of the flowers on this plant. This thing is going to pop off. So we are ready. These things hopefully start producing within the next couple weeks, because as I said, we've only got about 4 weeks left, unless we get a long winter, that we have to get these squashes. And eventually, very soon, this whole raised bed is going to be filled out all with onions and shallots, so that way when the spring rolls around, we're going to have an amazing harvest to come out to after the snow melts and those temperatures start to rise back up. But this is fantastic. I guess we're right here, so we'll talk about it. The tomatoes look terrible. They look awful. The basil looks good though. Look at this. This basil plant looks amazing, and I pruned this before I left to make sure that it would split. How to prune your basil, you always want to prune it off at like a midsection point. So this plant right here specifically, you could see this cut right here. So I cut this, and then these outer shoots of leaves formed off, and look at these stalks now. So that's how you can harvest your basil plant. So this right here, for example, if I'm gonna harvest this right here, I can break this off in this midsection. Oh, I just broke that one off, unfortunately. But we could just break this off here, and now this side shoot is gonna continue to grow up and branch out. Look at that, it's beautiful. It is starting to flower a little bit because basil is a hot season crop, and to prevent it from going to seed, we could just pinch all of these off. It doesn't matter because I just picked this, but if you see these on your plant still, you can go ahead and pick those seed pods off to prevent it from getting bitter and continuing to grow right up to the edge of that season. But hey, this basil smells fantastic. It'd be nice if we had some tomatoes to use it with. We had a great tomato harvest this year, so I can't complain. And there are a lot of tomatoes on the ground, so we're gonna have to make sure we pick these up, these San Marizanos, or we let them go. Since they're an heirloom variety, they're just gonna come right back up next season. But I was really hoping to come back to more tomatoes, but I really can't expect it because the way I have these tomatoes trellised, they do require a lot of care and maintenance. Being grown a foot apart, I was pruning these pretty heavily in order to get them to grow out these vines. But this is something that I'm gonna have to come back to. We'll rip all these tomatoes out, and then we'll get these beds ready for planting garlic in just a few weeks. One of the things that I know I'm going to have to do right now is plant some carrots, and I've got these raised beds back here saved for that. So let's go ahead and plant some carrots, because I always get the comments, questions. Carrots are the hardest thing for me to grow, and I can never be successful. And looking back here, I knew I had to plant a 4th succession, but now it looks like I'm gonna have to replant all of my carrots because barely any of them grew. But I need my carrots. I love my carrots, especially fall grown, winter grown carrots. They just get so sweet because those plants basically send all of their sugars down into the root of the crop, which makes them so sweet. It acts as an antifreeze for the plants. So I've got my carrot seeds right here, my good old Scarlet Nantes, and we're gonna go ahead and plant a couple rows, and I'll show you exactly what to do to plant these carrots. I'm just gonna go ahead and make a shallow trench here. And when you grow carrots, you wanna make sure that you have nice, deep, loose soil. The most important thing is loose soil, because you want those carrot roots to go deep into the soil. That's how you get that nice, long, developed taproot. So we're just gonna make a trench here, just like that with our finger. I'm gonna put some in my palm, and every 2 or 3 inches, or like 5 centimeters, we're gonna just sprinkle like 3 or 4 seeds. You're gonna have to come back and thin these out, or you could do this method where you're just coming along and sprinkling them, and we're just gonna have to come back and thin these out, hopefully in about a week. Carrots can take a long, long time to germinate, which is why they're so hard to grow. And during this time, you need to make sure that they're staying moist, because if at any time these seeds dry out, that germination process is done and you're not gonna get your carrots. So if you really want to grow your carrots, you've gotta make sure that you apply some sort of mulch onto these, which is gonna help to lock in that moisture and ensure that these carrot seeds germinate. All right, so our seeds are planted. Just gonna lightly cover them over. Then we're gonna water them in really, really well, and then apply a nice layer of mulch, and then you should be good to go. It's even better to plant them now if you still have enough time in your season, because it's not as hot. The soil isn't going to dry out as much. And having some drip irrigation installed is gonna make it even easier to ensure that your bed is staying nice and moist to help your carrots establish. All right, so I got my fall carrots planted. Did that raised bed over here as well as this one, and I'm also gonna be planting some spinach down the middle. So by the next few weeks, we're gonna have a beautiful raised bed popping full of carrots and spinach. But right now, what I see popping is these peppers right here. There's so many different colors. It just looks crazy. Look at these peppers right here. We did an awesome video on our tomato cages and how we use them to grow peppers. And look at the bounty we have on here. It is unreal. I believe this is the golden cow. Let's just snap one of these off here. Come in here, take a look at this. Look at the color on this pepper. Just gorgeous. Gorgeous orange. I mean, these plants are loaded, and it is the end of the season. Look at these plants. Phenomenal. I'm gonna be easily getting 5, 6, 7 peppers off of every single one of these plants. Didn't have to do anything for the last month. The weeds, I'll take the weeds. Look at this harvest. It's crazy. I'm gonna have to bring my basket over here. Oh my gosh. We've got these Aura peppers. These are fantastic cooking peppers. Aura is one of my favorite varieties. Nice small. These are perfect for just popping on the grill, grilling them up, and then you have some delicious peppers. And then we've got some even more back here. Our banana peppers are hiding back here. The ones that we made all of our pickled peppers with. These delicious little banana peppers. And I'll be sure to reference all of the videos that I've talked about throughout this video down in the comments. So if you want to figure out more about what recipes we've made or what strategies we've given out to be better gardeners, definitely go check these out, because today is really just show and tell. What have we got left for the season? And what are we getting ourselves into for the end of the year? And seeing all of this, I'm pretty happy about that. I'm just gonna let these go here. We've got so many peppers that we need to come back to and harvest. Probably gonna have to grab a helping hand as well as a bigger harvesting basket. I wanna pick a couple more. Look at this is a snowball pepper. Just look at the perfection of this pepper. You can't get this anywhere else. This is why I love to garden, because you can just get the varieties that you cannot get at the farmers markets, at the grocery stores. You can go handpick every single variety that you want to grow and get it right in your backyard. All right, well, I just finished harvesting what I'm going to grab for now, and we're walking out of this beautiful mess with this gorgeous harvest. And coming back after 30 days of being away to this is still pretty exciting. This just goes to show when you set yourself up and you plan and look ahead and get things in the ground, they're going to grow regardless of if you're here or not. Sometimes in the best ways, sometimes in the not so good ways. But just spending some time out here, little by little, we know that we're gonna reshape this landscape into what we want to see it as. But at the same time, Mother Nature is always fighting back and doing her own thing to beautify the landscape. And I would say that this is probably a realistic example of what most people are looking at. And it just goes to show that your garden doesn't have to be picture perfect in order to be fruitful. My name is Phil from Earth Nails and Tales, and if you're new to the channel, make sure you like and subscribe below and keep watching, to see the recommended videos to help you grow the gardener in you. Thanks for watching.